Hello and welcome to another perfectly on time commissioner video for the NFL Fantasy League, the Orion Bowl. I'm Bert Green, Commissioner Bert, and I'll be going through all the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations of the best NFL Fantasy League in the world. So let's have a look at what happened in week number 12. We'll take a look at the ultimate team, the best players from every position in our league last week. Quarterback has to be Josh Allen. Come on, 39.66, absolutely killing it, getting the Baltimore Ravens their much-deserved win over the best team in the league. I will take that and party. Running back 1, Christian McCaffrey. Let's face it, 25.9 is a slow week for Christian McCaffrey. That's why he's, the coach's sons are basically... Christian McCaffrey is giving the coach's sons a piggyback all the way to the bloody playoffs here. That's what's going on. Running back to Bijan Robinson, finally seems to be hitting that form that he was so hyped about. It wasn't enough to get Dak the win, but hey, it was a nice score. The Arizona Tits still beat him in a very close game. It's very good. Wide receiver 1, Mike Evans. The Suns had a pretty good one this week. He had 2 in the Ultimate Team, and he also got the win. Wide receiver 2, 15.4, D Bow Bow. Yeah, meant that the Forbesy Niners edged the team with no Namath to a victory, which it's nice to see the team with no Namath on the receiving end of a close loss there. It's pretty nice. Tight end Sam Laporta, another one for the Baltimore Ravens. If you get 2 in the Ultimate Team, usually that means that you have 1. Kicker Carlos Santos. Calro? Is it Calro? Carlo? I don't know. Either way. Bears kicker, 14 points. Wasn't enough to get the Harlots to win. And also, the Harlots are one of the only teams that I've seen recently that have 2 in the Ultimate Team and still managed to lose because they had the sweet D of the week being the Dallas Cowboys, Dem Boys. And Dem Boys and the kicker were not enough to get the Harlots the win. So let's take a quick glance at what that means for the league table. So you've got the Forbesy Niners and the coach's sons, both sitting at the top of the table, and rightly so. Then you've got the team with no Namath, 7-5. San Diego Harlots, 7-5. Baby got Dak, 7-5. Baltimore Ravens, 7-5. So it's a real race to get those last 2 playoff spots. This is the business end of the season. This is the fun part. They've got the Arizona Tits and the Dallas Stray Gorillas, both technically in the hunt, actually, because if everyone else loses and they win, all kinds of things. The team with no Sheamuth and the Legion of Hot Toilet probably aren't making the playoffs at this point. Especially the Legion of Hot Toilet. I don't understand, right? The Legion of Hot Toilet do not have a bad team at all. I do not understand how that... What's their points for? Well, their points for 1,075. Yeah, their points against... They have had more points scored against them than any other team in the league, by the looks of it. That's probably why they've had some rotten luck this year. Anyway, so let's now move on to week 13. We'll start off with the primetime game, Baltimore Ravens versus the coach's sons. And this one is already over. The coach's sons win. I'm conceding already because of a couple of things. A couple of factors. I don't have Josh Allen this week because he's on his bye week. So that's 40 points when you consider last week's score. And also, Jonathan Taylor has decided that he wants to fix his thumb before the end of the season. So he's going to be unavailable for the next 3 weeks. And that's a 20-point loss as well. So I've lost that's about a 60-point swing. So I'm not beating someone who's tied top of the league with Christian McCaffrey on his team with 60 points less. It's just not happening. I'm giving myself no chance in hell. Not happening. Not even going to look at I'll look at the players. Brock Purdy versus Herbert. Herbert wins that. Etienne versus McCaffrey. McCaffrey wins that. Rashad White versus Gibbs. Gibbs wins that. Thielen versus Evans. Evans wins that. Garrett Wilson versus Watson. Watson wins that. Tyreek Hill versus... Not Tyreek Hill. Taysom Hill. I do apologise. I want to call him a tight end, but he's not really. He's a quarterback, he's a running back, he's everything but a tight end. Either way, he's not going to put up as many points as Ferguson did at the weekend. He did 13.7. Michael Pittman versus Williams. Williams wins that. Gay versus Hopkins. Hopkins wins that. Defenses, 49ers versus Dolphins. The 49ers win that. I think the coach's sons get a clean sweep there. They ruin any chances of making the playoffs, unless a lot of people lose in the final week. Either way, because we've only got 2 weeks left after this. So really, I needed this win, and because Taylor's now done for the season, I think that is the Baltimore Ravens in the bin. But it's fine. It's been a good season. We haven't shamed ourselves. We've done better than the algorithm predicted us to do, which is really all anyone can hope for, isn't it? Let's move on to the Forbesy Niners versus the Dallas Trey Gorillas. So the Dallas Trey Gorillas have had some players playing, but we've got Hurts versus Mahomes. I think that Hurts probably has, against the 49ers. Mahomes is probably going to be in a shootout. I'd probably say Mahomes is going to win that one. Henry versus Pollard. Pollard's already put up 14. I don't know. Henry should probably beat that. Najee Harris versus Breece Hall. Breece Hall's been struggling lately because he's on a woeful offense, being the Jets. The Jets have just not looked good, let's face it. Najee Harris should win that one. Now you've got Godwin versus Collins. Look, any Houston wide receiver is going to be the better wide receiver to put in, usually. So Collins, I'll take that one. Deebo Samuel versus Tank Dell. Deebo Samuel's been on some really good form. I think I'll take Deebo Samuel in that one. Freiermuth versus Ingram. I think Freiermuth gets that one because he's against Arizona, who aren't brilliant against tight ends. Ramondre Stevenson versus Pickens. Pickens is either like 1 point or 20, isn't he? So I think that Stevenson's probably the more reliable choice out of those two. McManus versus Aubrey. 15 points from the kicker already. You got to say that's probably going to be the better kicker. The Jets versus Atlanta. The defense. Now the defense for the Jets are outstanding. So I think they probably put up more points than the Chiefs defense, or as I like to call them, the Civ. So I think overall, on balance, I think the Forbes Niners takes that one. An impressive win over the Dallas Trey Gorillas, who are the best team in the league. San Diego Harlots versus the Legion of Hot Toilets. You've got Howell versus Howell. Sorry. Howell versus Tua. I think Tua wins out that one. Elliott versus Mostart. Mostart wins that one. Connor versus Mixon. You've got to say that Mixon's probably got the better matchup there. Tyreek Hill this time against Amon-Ra St. Brown. You've got to say Tyreek Hill. Brandon Ayuk versus Downs. Ayuk's been on real form, so I'm going to say Ayuk in that one. McBride versus Schultz. Schultz is out, so I think that McBride's probably going to do better points than someone who is not playing. Not by much, though. McLaurin versus Montgomery. I think Montgomery in that one. Sanders versus Younghoe Koo. I like Younghoe Koo in that one. Buccaneers D versus the Seahawks D. The Seahawks D already put up 0 points. So can the Buccaneers beat 0? Yes, I believe they can. So on balance, I've forgotten... On balance, I think the Legion of Hot Toilet take it, honestly. I think that they've got the better matchups. Then you've got the baby dropped Dak against the team with no namer. CJ Stroud versus Kyler Murray. You've got to say CJ Stroud. They've been throwing the ball so well over there in Houston. He's got some brilliant weapons at wide receiver. Alvin Kamara versus Chuba Hubbard. Gotta say Kamara in that one, honestly, haven't you? Bijan Robinson versus Pacheco. Pacheco is just hot trash, so Bijan Robinson doubles his score easily. You've got Cooper Kupp versus AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown, he's just on the better offense at the moment. Cooper Kupp's a great wide receiver, but LA have been struggling through the air recently. You've got CeeDee Lamb versus Christian Kirk. Well, Kirk versus Lamb. Lamb's already put up 20.6. I don't see Kirk beating that, honestly. I just don't see it. George Kittle versus Thomas. You've got to believe that Kittle's probably going to get the better of that one. Moss versus Rice. Now, obviously, Jonathan Taylor is now out for the next few weeks, so you've got to think that Zach Moss is probably going to put up 25 points, so he wins out that one. Moody versus Elliott. I like Elliott in that one. Browns D versus Jags D. The Browns D are just a better D. They're stronger, they're more robust, they're harder. So on balance, I think I'm going to lean towards Baby Got Dak. But you've got Dak to get the win and to move closer into playoff contention. Then you've got the Arizona Tits against the team with no Shamuth, the team with no Namath, B team. You've got Dak Prescott's already put up 28 points. That's pretty good against Trevor Lawrence. I think that's probably good enough to beat Trevor Lawrence this week. Singletary, vision is scary, center of attention, king of the year. Sorry, I can't stop it. Every time I see Singletary, anyway, against Austin Eckler. Look, Singletary's been fantastic so far, so I'm gonna pick him to beat Eckler. Ford against the Washington Robinson. I think Ford's probably good enough to get that done. You've got Cooks has already got 12.5 versus Ridley. I think Ridley probably edges that. Sutton versus Metcalf. Metcalf has already put up 31 points, which is just insane. What an insane score. Fantastic. That you've got to feel good after that. I don't see Sutton matching that, or even getting half that, honestly. Njoku versus Kelsey. Got to say Kelsey every day. A-Chain is back, and he's against Keenan Allen. You got to say A-Chain's going to get the... A-Chain's probably going to come back with a vengeance. He's going to be looking good. Butker versus Dicker. Dicker the kicker. You got to go Dicker the kicker, haven't you? Just because of the name. You've got the Bengals D against the Colts D. The Colts D have been on fire lately, so I'm going to have to lean towards the Colts D. So I think, on balance, that with that performance from DK Metcalf, you've got to say that the team with no Shamuth are going to win that. And that is all I've got time for this week in this brilliantly on-time show. We'll see you next time on time. If I've picked you to win, prove me right. If I've picked you to lose, prove me wrong.